What's up, everybody? Let's get right into this. Canelo Alvarez, Charlo coming up. Peers in the boxing world talking about what's happening, what's going down, how they see it. I got this from, I believe, Fight Hype, and I just edited up a little with some font on it. The video's not monetized. Don't be a hater. It's fair use. Here was this. Oscar De La Hoya has to say.
And I'm just saying that in the history of elite fighters, it just doesn't happen in their prime, in their, when they're, I'm not talking about, okay, me against Pacquiao, I was over the hill, obviously, but
So basically, I have to pause this right here. I think this was longer. He's basically saying that a smaller good man going up, an elite fighter, but smaller, going up to fight a bigger man, the bigger man always usually wins. So let's continue.
it's just the name of the game. That's just the way it is.
Okay, we'll talk about what Porter has to say real quick. Yeah, so if you look at throughout boxing history, it does happen. And it's very honest of De La Hoya to say he was past his prime, which incidentally, on this channel, I predicted, I believe, that fight. I said Pacquiao's going to beat De La Hoya. A lot of people were in denial about it. They were saying De La Hoya was weight trained. But that's a long time ago. Whole new crop of boxing fans coming up in the game, and they're trying to learn the sport. But that's what happened. So now, looking at this fight, we're going to see what these people have to say. I didn't listen to everybody, so we're going to go through it. Basically, I got the font on the screen. It's a whole different thing. I used an AI program. Boom, boom, boom. It puts it on real quick. I didn't do all that work. It would take forever to so if you see mistakes on the screen when you're reading it, the subtitles, it's not my fault. So, it's really interesting what's going to happen in this fight because, again, Charlo does have a chance in this fight. It's not going to be a long shot like many people, could easily say, Canelo's going to blow him out. But, if you watch previous videos, what I think that if Canelo has a lot left and he doesn't age overnight like what's his name, Gonzalez, Chocolatito. I don't know if you remember that. He was a really, really amazing fighter. And all of a sudden, one fight, he just lost. And then he lost again. It's just like he aged overnight. Canelo, without a doubt, does have probably more miles, I argue, as far as the fight odometer, being in the ring, the years, the fights, the quality of level opposition than Charlo. So there is that. Let's continue with Porter.
No, I think that Charlo, he's gonna need movement. You need movement against Canelo. You need a fast work rate against Canelo, and you need a great jab against Canelo. And you got to get to Canelo's body, and then you got to keep Canelo off of you. You know what I mean? So I think that the fight with Canelo and Charlo, I think it's interesting. I do think that Canelo wins that fight, but it remains to be seen.
Yeah, because Canelo is a really tough fighter. He's very aggressive. He goes forward. When he lost recently, it was because he had the guy fighting back. It was just a different type of dynamics going in the ring. There were a lot of jabs going on. Charlo would have to keep him off, like Porter was saying. I know you studied those fight loss tapes videos, but this is not going to be a walkover fight like who am I thinking? Danny Jacobs versus Kid Chocolate. Blew him out of there quick, and Kid Chocolate was quite never the same after that. Let's continue this here.
He is a good outside boxer. The thing that I've seen though, and the only thing that I question is the conditioning, right? Because Canelo has a thing where he's just gonna keep. It's just the Mexican fighter, man. That pressure, right?
So he's questioning Charlo's conditioning. Charlo runs out of gas, and then Canelo keeps coming forward. He doesn't stop. He's hard to get off, and he's bigger. I don't think so much of the weight, because from my fight knowledge, my boxing IQ experience, a lot of the times it does go wrong for people, Joey Gamache, Gaddy, where you get a bigger fighter. But for the most part, with a fight like this, with someone like Charlo going up, it's not so much of a big deal with the weight. It's more, still, it's going to come down to skills. So I don't think that's going to be the big factor, even though if Canelo does knock Charlo out, let's say in 6 rounds, which I don't think, people are going to say, oh, he's too small, he shouldn't have been up there. I disagree with that. Keith Thurman's also saying, the Mexican boxing style is the pressure body. If you look at the great legacy, the history of Mexican boxing, some of my favorite fighters are from Mexico. Julio Cesar Chavez, unbelievable pressure. The guy was just... he was just relentless. If you look at some fights on YouTube, if you never watched Julio Cesar Chavez, pull him up. Even though Pernell Whitaker got robbed, I think they gave it a draw. But I would, Pernell Whitaker was the first to really beat him, besides Meldrick Taylor, if you want to go there. But he did hurt Taylor late. But that's up for debate. But you got Marco Antonio Barrera, you got Castillo. Jose Luis Castillo is a really, Eric Terrible Morales versus Barrera provided so many fights. What a great fight. That's where I won the fight from HBO. I actually won it on his channel a long time ago. I gave it to my friend as a gift, a shirt. It was wrapped in like a tube. But yeah, I forgot exactly how I won that one. I won I won stuff from Showtime more than once. I believe I showed on his channel for predicting boxing consecutively. Predictions where they were just like up and coming fighters. They weren't always like an A side and a B side. Like I got a lot of those fights right over and over. But anyway, let's get back to the video here. Demetrius Andre weighing in.
So Charlo's height is whatever. But at the end of the day, I think the overall weight and power that Canelo's going to bring to that fight, and also Charlo had a hard time with the Castaño kid, and the Castaño kid is going to be coming straight forward, just like Canelo's going to come straight forward, but with a little bit more movement. And I don't think Charlo has that athletic ability to really bob and.
He's got a lot of good points, Demetrius does here. He obviously he's a professional fighter. This guy's really good. He's a really great boxer, giving some good analysis here, and he believes another person. Can we get one person to say Charlo's going to win? Let's continue.
He's more of a tight fighter, but I think Canelo's going to overall beat him. But at the end of the day, may the best man win.
Okay, so yeah, I think it's a really entertaining fight. This is going to be. First of all, if you're looking to buy the fight, I think it's going to be really worth this one. I've been really mad at boxing for many years, where I just stopped buying pay-per-views. I stopped buying because if you go to the old days of wrestling, WWE, you would have a cheap guy. I forget what they call it, a heel versus a guy that's going to win. I feel like boxing, I'll discredit myself too because I predicted so many fights right. But, I give myself credit where there's really hard fights to predict, like Rigondeaux versus Lomachenko. I predicted that right for Loma. But it's like, who's going to win going into so many of these fights. So what's the point of laying out all this money? Look, you got, for argument's sake, let's say Tyson Fury is going to fight whoever, some guy they grabbed from Australia, some obscurity fighter. Oh, he has tons of power. He's got 2 losses. I already know Fury's going to win, so why do I want to pay whatever they're asking to see the fight, even though if I'm a fan? Deontay Wilder, tomorrow, they put him on to fight, let's say, just some guy from wherever, and even if the dude's undefeated, and I never really heard of him, and there's no really quality opposition, he's not like an upper echelon type of fighter, why do I want to see? Because I know Wilder's going to knock him out. So it reminds me of those wrestling moments where it's scripted, where already know who's going to win, and you get the very rarefied air, once in a million. I love the words, that's why I said it. You get once in a million type of upset. Very rare in boxing do these upsets happen. Very rarely, and you usually see them when it's on a Showtime up-and-comers fight, fighters that aren't already established, whereas the promotion like PBC or whoever top rank has invested so much into them, and they're on an undefeated streak, and they're about to get a title shot, and they're, really unknown, 2 unknown fighters, and they'll take a chance. They'll put a guy in there with 20-0, let's say he's 21 years old, and they'll stick him in there with a journeyman at 32, 33 years old, and a journeyman will have 1 or 2 losses, but he's tough. We've seen that in recent boxing history. I can't recall the names on ESPN or something like that. I was watching on Showtime a couple months ago, and a guy, the older veteran, will win the fight. Those I love upsets. I'm a sucker for upsets, except when it's while they're getting beat or something, because I am a huge I like Fury too, but I'm a huge Deontay Wilder fan. I mean, God, he's just not only he's just a great genuine person. You could tell the fighter Pritchard. I'm sorry, Cologne. That Cologne kid got his brain damaged behind the headshots, and Deontay Wilder was out there talking about him. He came to tears. I mean, there's nothing fake about Deontay Wilder outside of the ring. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and he is a great ambassador for boxing. I mean, how many boxers do that? They just go go to bat for someone like that, and they literally shed tears. And Lord, you know, who else knows what great things Wilder does behind the scenes that we don't know about? Because I don't think he's the type of person to go donate something or do something and like film it, like record it and try to get clout that way, because he doesn't need to. He just seems like a really genuine, really amazing person, really, really like dependable, like loyal friend from what I've seen of him. So anyway, I don't want to see him lose. So let's continue. This is Roy Jones Jr.
You know, it's strange for Mel because this is Mel's first time going that high, and he's doing it for 2 weight classes. So to jump 1 weight class is good, but when you jump 2, it's a little bit different. Cause
Okay. So Roy Jones, that's about it right there. Roy Jones is saying, Jermell is Charlo's gonna jump up 2 weight classes, which is, you know, it's nothing to sneeze at. It's something. But let's say if you're going to count weight, if count weight going against him, that's going to be the weight. But he does, what I think Charlo does have going for him is Canelo's wear and tear in a ring. Like I said, is it going to be a chocolate Tito type of situation? Did he fade a little? Perhaps he did. But I think from what I've seen, the fading of Canelo in the ring doesn't warrant a Charlo win so easily at this point. It's not enough there unless something else happened, you know. There's that old argument, waking up in Wilk silk sheets. First, someone said that. Hagler may have been the first person that coined that, I don't know. But that doesn't seem to affect Canelo. He's been rich for a while now, and he's been doing his thing and coming up all aces pretty much. It's just one of those things. So let's see. Oh, this is Marco Antonio Barrera. I just talked about him earlier, one of my favorite fighters here. Let's check him out.
Is Charlo a tough fight for Canelo?
It's a good fight. I like it. I think Canelo going to win the fight.
Boy, I love this guy.
Charlo, you know, have to up 14 pounds. It's a lot of weight, but going to be a good fight.
It's so good to see Marco Antonio Barrera. I remember back in the day. I told this story before. I knew someone that worked at some store. They knew I was into fighting. Someone knew, you know, through the grapevine. They knew someone in my family, and they had called me. Yo, I'm betting money on Nazim Hamed to beat Barrera. I said no. I said don't do that. I said listen, I'm not telling you what to do, but Marco Antonio Barrera is being slept on. He's gonna win that fight. It's like I said, I've been watching boxing forever. But let's continue. This is Paulie weighing in. What happened to him on Showtime? I don't see him anymore.
Has done a lot of work towards this, and I think this is the culmination of a lot of work. It's a very, very big opportunity, but jumping up 2 weight classes is very, very difficult all at once. Whereas Canelo Alvarez, not the most defensively adept fighter, but he's very good at understanding positioning and holding his ground and kind of making you pay right from where he's at if you overcommit. And that's where Jermell has to fight a very, very disciplined fight. I think Canelo has the advantage.
Yeah, because, you know, Canelo, he will make you miss and pay. I've seen, you know, fighters overreaching, fighters making mistakes leaning in, fighters fatiguing, forget it. If Charlo fatigues and Canelo still has more energy than him late in the fight, it's going to be a disaster. Charlo's going to probably have to utilize his footwork or hang on and hold to hang in there. But I see this as a decision win for Canelo.
Both for the reason that I haven't seen Jermell fight in this kind of disciplined manner yet, again at this level, and also, despite that, 2 weight classes up.
We've also seen people in the past regret making that decision, regret going up 2 weight classes to make a fight.
Okay, that's where the video ends there. So, people will regret anything because they take the gamble, they go up. Mikey Garcia went up and he lost. You know, he went for greatness. But, you know, it happens. You know, it's a sport. Some want to test themselves. They want to go up. The big money's there. I don't blame Charlo, because if Charlo wins this fight, wow, it's going to be a really, really big deal for him and really put him in another level. All right, let's continue. Is this Ronnie Shields?
Well,
trainer?
First of all, I know he's going to be in great shape because he always is. He takes it as pride. He takes pride in training, and I know he's going to be in great shape. But what he has to do is he has to make every round not be close. You know, every round that he wins. You're not going to win close rounds against a Canelo Alvarez.
That is true because, look, Triple G, they wouldn't give him a win over Canelo, even when, in my opinion, in the first fight, G clearly won. marketable thing, whatever we can go into. I can talk about it for an hour. How, you know, there was no money to be made off GGG at that point in time, off a young Canelo, very bankable. They weren't trying to let him win, so they gave it a draw. But yo, Ronnie Shields knows what he's talking about. He's been a trainer all his life, as far as I know. This is what he does, and this man is very knowledgeable. Let's listen.
Simple as that. When I had Erislandy Lara, I know we had a couple close rounds, but you know, we just knew we had to keep pushing because we know we're not going to get close rounds. But with Canelo, you know, Canelo is not so hard. It's not the
Canelo is definitely he's got it. He's got good head movement. Like I said, he's not. You know, some people say, "Oh, you're a hater," because you listen. Even on his channel back in the day, I said Floyd Mayweather's going to easily beat him. It's going to be a sparring session. I said that before the fight actually happened. You can go just put in the search engine. I'm sure the channel here still has that video. And that's because I knew Canelo was an A-class elite fighter, an upper echelon, super elite. He's really good. He was marketed well. He's put in there against people he did well with. He learned a lot in that fight, but still, fighting Floyd Mayweather, both of them at the same age, it would have had the same result. You know, that's what you see someone that what I call is like a ring general, top of the line, elite fighter. Not everyone could be elite. You could be great. Let's say A-, Canelo, you could be there, B+, A-, marketed right, A, but there's that rarefied air, Floyd Mayweather. Crawford just proved he's in that zone where there's only pound for pound select few, and that, you know, have that special quality where they won't lose, they don't lose, and if they lose, it'll be like a one-time thing. It'll be like when Roy Jones Jr. was young and in his prime, he lost because Montel Griffith that went down to one knee. I said that in the previous video, and he got a disqualification in a fight that he was easily winning, and then he redeemed himself in a rematch, knocked Montel Griffith out real quick back in the day. But if it would be boring if everyone was like an elite, an amazing, top of the line, rarefied air, you know, if you want to say king fighter. Definitely Canelo is really good, but he's just not the elite. I've heard elite be thrown around already. I think even De La Hoya said Canelo's elite and Charlo's elite. No, I'm talking about rarefied air. Floyd Mayweather, undefeated. Crawford. I'm talking about, you know, top of the line. Tyson Fury's a heavyweight, but Tyson Fury, you got to give it to him. He's a freak. He's a nature because his height, his skills, his jerky head movement. He's got to be put in that class. I mean, there's even in the heavyweight division, there's only certain fighters like that. A young Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, even with the losses, because you can lose. Like I said, you can lose the fight, but you can still be a one of a kind, elite, amazing when you're in top shape and no one can beat you type of fighter. It's just like that special quality fighter. You know if you're a boxing fan, you already know what I'm talking about. I mean, I don't have to explain it forever, but let's continue here real quick.
Oh, that 154. So I feel like, you know, I'm going to be the smaller guy, but I'm faster. And people underestimate my strength, how strong I am. So, you know, it's all about believing in yourself. That's all it's about. It's not really about weight, because at the end of the day, a lot of fighters kind of walk around at the same weight.
See, Danny Garcia just said it's not all about weight. You know, a lot of fighters walk around at the same weight. So he's kind of saying what I made the point earlier. I said, you know, a lot of the times, even though it's two classes, sometimes that doesn't come into effect. That really doesn't play in some fights, but it depends. It depends on the fighter, on the person. There's so many variables, so it depends. Each case is unique. So I don't know what's going to happen when Charlo walks in there against Canelo heavier. Like maybe he will get knocked out quick, but I'm thinking no. It's the way it's gonna. I'm more with Danny saying. I'm more thinking that it's going to be a decision. He's not easy to beat. Obviously, Charlo's no pushover, and he's going to probably be able to defend himself for 12 straight rounds. So let's continue.
And they squeeze themselves down, you know, so it's however they feel.
So yeah, we're going to wrap that up right there with Danny Garcia. So I hope if you get the fight, you really enjoy it. I really believe if you're going to buy a fight, I'm not endorsing this. Nobody's paying me. This is not a paid sponsorship, obviously. Look at the channel. It's not even monetized. It's hilarious. But I just think that if you're going to buy a fight, this would be the fight to buy, especially if you're a Charlo or Canelo fan, because you want to see your guy Charlo upset. You want to see that. And Charlo brings a lot of dramatic moments. He's very outspoken, which he's entertaining. He's an entertaining cat. Canelo is, I think he's definitely on the downside of his career. It's the beginning. It's the beginning of the downside. We'll see how bad he looks in this fight, because I think when he beats Charlo, I don't think it's going to be like what a lot of people might expect. They might expect it to be very easy here. The way everyone's saying Charlo's going to lose for the majority of the picks here amongst boxing press, peers, I don't think it's going to be that easy. I think it's going to be a hard fight. So it's going to be entertaining. So if you're going to put money down and you're going to invest in this fight, your capital, your hard-earned money, I think that this would be the fight. If you have let's say if you have a budget, I'm buying just 2 fights this entire year or one. This would be, at this point in time, the end of September, going into October 2023, this would be the one you want to buy for the year, if this is your, what you do. So with that being said, I'm going to be out. I'm going to hit that camera and I'm out. Hope everyone has a great night or day. Depends when you watch this. Thanks for the view. Subscribe to the channel. I never said that. This is my first time I'm saying subscribe since I returned after many, many years. I never said subscribe, and yet I got 80 subscribers or something, in 2.5 weeks. That's pretty good. All right, I'm out.